Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, and I'm back to bring you another episode review from Season 7 of The Loud House. So let's get right into it. Today's episode is a dish come true. In this episode, Lincoln finds out his dad is holding his first ever Employee of the Month contest where the winner will have a menu item named after them, and he starts helping out around the restaurant. But then the competition heats up when some of his sisters overhear his plan and they too want to be Employee of the Month. Going based off the plot summary, one word comes to mind, and that word would be cooked, the Season 3 finale. Remember at the end of the episode where Lin Sr. said he was going to name a few dishes after the kids as his way of thanking them for helping out on the grand opening of the restaurant? Not only does A Dish Come True completely ignore that entire conversation despite at least one instance from Season 5 where it was technically followed up on, but it also does this bizarre thing of indirectly making callbacks to menu items that were either going to be named after the kids or to an extent already established food names that were subtle references to the kids. Luann not only suggested having a Luanchovy pizza in the Season 3 finale, but she says the exact same thing in this episode as if it's the first time she ever said it. Remember when Luna wanted some moon goat cheese fries in the episode Band Together? This time she contemplates having a moon goat cheese salad. So rather forcefully, this episode tries to retroactively remove any and all past instances of the kids having food items named after them just so the story could have conflict. And speaking of which, a good portion of the story is just a montage of the kids engaging in sabotage. As if we haven't seen that sort of thing a million times before. First, it's just Lincoln trying to make his sisters look like irresponsible employees. He does this by creating a pile of dirty dishes for a table Lana already cleaned off, lying to Luna, Lin Jr., and their customers about a special menu item their dad wasn't even serving that day, and switching out Luann's peeled potatoes for onions. And of course, Lincoln just had to put on a big smirky smile around his sisters as his way of saying he was the one screwing around with their work. It's no wonder his sisters got all pissed off when they realized what he was doing and then started going after him in retaliation. What I just said sounds a lot like what happened in the episode Frenzy, now doesn't it? Unfortunately, just like Frenzy, not only do the girls decide to not be on the same page so they can all come out as winners so their brother can come out as the loser, but everyone begins to embrace the same it's every kid for themselves mentality once their dad leaves the restaurant to run an errand. All five of them go back and forth sabotaging each other's work by any means necessary, resulting in bodily harm, messy clothes, and a massive food fight that understandably scares the customers. The three people you feel bad for the most in this episode are Lin Sr., Grant, and Kotaro. You feel sorry for the dad because he really believed his kids wanted to spend quality time with him and learn about the family business. He was so happy to see his kids taking the initiative and never once thought they had a secret agenda. Besides Lori from the 4th season, I think it's safe to assume that dad doesn't see any of his kids as actual paid employees, at least according to what Clyde said at the beginning. His only legitimate employees are Grant and Kotaro, and you feel bad for them most of all. They pretty much figured out why Lincoln and his sisters were so eager to help around the restaurant after Lincoln openly acknowledged how his sisters were going for the same prize he was. It's even worse for those two when Lin Sr. temporarily leaves them in charge. They try to stop the kids from fighting, and then Lin Sr. falsely accuses them of playing a role in the mayhem, even though upon first glance it kinda looked like they did. As expected, the kids admit the real reason why they wanted to help around the restaurant, praise Grant and Kotaro as good workers, and both of them are made Employee of the Month with 2 dishes named in their honor. By the way, if you think I'm going to nitpick about 2 people winning an award originally designed for just one person, you'd be wrong. Given everything that happened throughout the episode, having a shared victory for 2 responsible adult characters is well beyond justified. Overall, this episode is grade A garbage. It's just a different version of Frenzy, except this one has a better ending and only 5 Loud siblings are involved instead of overloading the story with all 11. When previously established events and subtle continuity from seasons 3 and 5 are thrown out the window only for the sake of creating conflict, the episode as a whole feels very forced. From the kids lying to their dad about the real reason for wanting to work at the restaurant to creating destruction that ran the risk of giving their family business a bad name, you simply don't feel bad for any one of them. Lin Sr. didn't deserve to be done dirty the way he did, but at least I can appreciate minor characters like Grant and Kotaro having some time in the spotlight. Despite the more glaring negatives, I'll admit there were 2 visual gags I thought were a tad amusing. First, there was Lincoln saying he would be the most famous Lincoln of all time, with Clyde saying he could maybe be a close second. Then Lincoln falls off a chair with a bag of cheese puffs and him being covered in cheese dust, and the bag had him looking like like the most famous Lincoln of all time, Abraham Lincoln. And finally, Kotaro said the soup needed more tomato, and that's when a tomato came flying into the kitchen and landing in the pot. So to wrap things up, I used to think Party Foul was the worst, but not anymore. As far as I'm concerned, this right here is the worst episode of Season 7. To be fair, there are still a few episodes left before the season ends, but we'll just see if there's something much worse than what we got here, and I really hope I'm wrong. With that said, I give A Dish Come True a 3 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of A Dish Come True. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.